We welcome you back here to the Bethany Sports Beat on blcvikings.com, and we're going to catch up with the men's basketball program now, which is halfway through its conference season, and that means we're going to bring in Coach Greg Holzhueter at this point. And Coach, right now you are in the thick of it. You're right in the middle of that playoff hunt, 4-4 going into the second half of the season. Big wins in the first half. Obviously, knocking off North Central was a huge win, a team that was undefeated in the conference at the time. Certainly, always a win against MLC is important here at Bethany, and you got them on the home court. And probably a few games, maybe the Northland game that you thought you had a decent shot going into and got away from you. Kind of where you thought you would be right now, a little disappointed, or you take the 4-4 conference?
I mean, like you said, there's a couple games that are really disappointing. The two that jump out to me were the Northland game on the road, where we just played a really poor second half and let a game slip away that, game like that we need to win if we're trying to make a conference tournament. And then the game here this past Friday against Morris, where we were tied with them coming into the game with conference standings and just didn't perform very well. Those two games we'd like to have back. Well, we did get two good wins, one against UW Superior at home here. That was a big win because they were picked ahead of us in the conference standings to start the year, and then also beating North Central, like you said. So we need more consistent play so that we don't have those couple of losses where you think, holy cow, it slipped away from us. And then if we can steal those two wins like we did against Superior and North Central, I think we'll be in a great spot.
Is that kind of maybe the mantra for the season at this point, the consistency or at times the lack thereof it with kind of a younger team and still working in a number of underclassmen and some transfers coming in there, just finding that consistent level of play night in and night out?
I think that, yeah, if you ask the guys what they hear from me most often before practices, during games, halftime, all that, it's probably the word consistency. For me, it's a consistency of effort. I think to win in conference and to win consistently, you need to have the consistent effort in practice every day and in games. And I think that's something you learn over the course of time. And sometimes you learn the hard way, like losing the game on the road to Northland. And so my hope as the head coach is just that we're learning every day and understanding how hard it is to win and what it takes to win. So that the second round of conference, we can get into a game where we're maybe not playing as well, but we can rely on our effort and our consistency of effort to get a win in a tough game.
Now, I know no coaches ever really like to single out any players, but I'm going to take the opportunity to do that just a little bit. And obviously a guy that not a lot of Bethany fans knew about before this season, but pretty quickly everybody's figured out who this guy is. Brandon Felix has come in and really made a good impact on the team.
Yeah, he has. I mean, you look at the numbers, and that's clear that he's making an impact on the offensive end, but also his leadership too. A lot of guys rally behind him. You know, he's older, so he's more experienced as a basketball player. He played a couple years of college already and has been out of organized basketball for a few years. But he just has a presence about him. He gets people excited about being on the floor with him, and is a great team guy. So yeah, we were thrilled when he decided to choose or to come to Bethany, and been doing great things for us on and off the court.
Other guys that all of a sudden, as we're at this point of the season, that have kind of been consistently in the top of the scoring column, Neil Eichman comes to mind, and certainly Nick Sanborn having another strong season for you.
Yeah, Nick is a guy that for 3 years now, consistency is a word that you can count on for him, especially on the offensive end. You know you're going to get 9 or 10 points from him, and that's kind of where he's at right now, is that 10 points a game margin. And shooting over 50%, you can't ask for more than that out of him. Neil is a guy that definitely scores for us. What I'm always preaching to Neil is to be more efficient with his offensive game and to get his teammates involved. And he's learning, and he's only a sophomore, so I think he's getting better every day, and I know he wants to get better and help the team win. So Neil's scoring is there. I would love to see his efficiency go up a little bit, where he's taking a couple fewer shots, getting his teammates more involved, and he knows that too. We talk about it all the time, so I think he's on board with improving those areas.
Give me two more players that need to step it up here. We get obviously at this point of the season now the bench gets a little bit shorter. You're going to go with fewer guys as far as the significant minutes, but guys that you've seen some indication from it, they're really on the cusp of turning this thing and becoming one of those guys again that you can count on in the second half.
I think Zach Brantz has shown kind of flashes of brilliance this year on the offensive end, and actually defensively too. I've been so happy with the way he's come into this season. He just came in and wanted to work hard right away and didn't assume anything after playing minutes for us last year. So been really happy with his work ethic and his attitude. He's scoring some points on the offensive end, and I think for him it's just building confidence and continue to contribute on the floor for us, especially in ways other than scoring, because he was a big-time scorer in high school, but I think he's finding in college that he needs to contribute in other ways than he is this year. So I think I'm looking forward to seeing him continue to improve. And then off the bench, Austin Bauer, a freshman, who is really impressed us this year, kind of was a little bit off our radar in terms of how he could help us right away this year, but he works so hard and he's a smart player. So I want to see him continue to just build his confidence because I've seen it early in the season, and he's played well at times, and I think consistently he can do it on a night in, night out basis.
Final question, but have you ever seen a conference race more wide open than it is really right now? Because you have North Central, which obviously been to some degree a surprise. They knock off Northwestern, who you know is going to be there. Yep. But you're in that mix. You have Morris, Scholastica. There's a number of teams. Nobody's a lock at for any position at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, North Central is just the best example. They were picked to finish 6th in the conference this year. And they're sitting at 7-1 after the first round. So, yeah, that just shows it's wide open. I mean, after we beat them, they go up and beat UW Superior and St. Scholastica this weekend. Actually, it was a home weekend, but still, those were 2 huge wins to get them to 7-1. So, yeah, I don't know what to expect the second round of the season. Obviously, we have 7 games on the road out of 8, so it'll be a tough bout for us. But yeah, anything can happen in the UMAC, and be curious. I'm predicting that the standings will not be exactly the same at the end of the second round of the season as they are right now. There's going to be a lot of movement, I think.
Well, let's hope that Viking movement is only upward in their swing, and again, looking for a spot in the top 5 and a berth in the UMAC Conference Tournament. Greg Holzhueter, our head men's basketball coach here at Bethany, and I'm Don Westfall, thanking you for joining us on Bethany Sports Beat.